And I think the stint with me at TNA is I had high expectations, and it kind of and like him, I appreciate what they gave me the opportunity to work there. But me and Brian had been apart so long that I thought it would be more of looking for what we had in the past, bringing it to the future and coming back together. And when we did some good stuff and we had fun doing it, but it just was never the same. I mean, it just wasn't. I mean, we kind of felt it, but it was kind of not coming across. It wasn't coming across on TV where you needed to come across for it to get out there. And then when I went with the girls, and they put him more in like an agent role, and I went with the girls, kind of brought a little bit back because I was not, I guess because I wasn't working. I was just kind of a manager with two good looking girls that they wanted to do something with, and figured maybe I could kind of spark something in there, which hopefully I helped them a little bit. But that kind of felt like I was kind of getting back in the groove. And then as soon as that does, it's like, I was pulled right out of there. And good for them if they wanted to do stuff with them. And they did do some stuff with them. They just didn't want me along for the ride. So that kind of but I think the main thing is I was looking for a lot more out of me and him than what we could actually give them.
I think they were looking for a lot more out of you and I too. Lightning struck again, but this time they could just see the lightning strike. It didn't strike them. You know what I mean? It was when they were bringing him in, I thought, oh man, there was a lot of pressure on me because I thought they want us to reproduce what we already produced over there, 7-8 years ago. And I didn't see it happening. We did have good times, and Russo again got us to do the VKM thing. That was interesting, and we did have fun doing it. It brought back some of the old memories, but I think it just brought back some old memories for you and me. And I don't think the people gave me that. and of course, it would have been great if Sean and Hunter would have reacted somehow to it. But like I said earlier in this interview, Vince don't take his eyes off the finish line.
Yeah.
And if you look at the guy behind you, you ain't focused on your own race. And so, kudos to them for being smarter than us.
Yes.
I was definitely behind the scenes full time. Then I was the road agent at the time. Met a couple agents, but I was the one that went on the road to all the house shows, and I actually loved that job. I love that gig. I love helping the young guys put together a match that makes sense. I love helping them try to cut a promo, and you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him cut a good promo. And so I love doing that part of stuff. But then they got rid of me and Dutch Mantell and Jim Cornette and Savio Vega, a couple of guys that I felt kind of was Team Jarrett. They were kind of cleaning out, a lot of Jeff's friends, actually. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it. That's just what it felt like to me. And I was on the inside, so I definitely wasn't in the decision-making group. But they said, we're going to let you go because you don't see eye to eye with our writing staff. Man, I didn't always see eye to eye with them, but I would think that some peaceful discontent would actually be good for, some debate would be good for the writing staff and not just yes men, surrounding themselves with yes men. So that was cool, but then they called me back and said, hey, we're going to give you another chance when Hogan and Bischoff got there, actually. And I hooked up with my dude down there and showed up at TV, man, just hammered, plastered, went in a production meeting, tried to run the meeting with Bischoff and Hogan and everybody in there, and I was all screwed up on pills, and they sent me home that day, right then, and I was the kind of addict that when good things happen, I would take them to celebrate, and when bad things happen, I would take them to celebrate, I don't know, I would sabotage myself and my own, prosperity, despite myself. I don't know. That's just what a drug addict does. I just thank God in heaven above. I kick. Today I haven't used drugs today, and I don't plan on it, and I don't plan on using them tomorrow. And then as far as Billy, more about. I think that was my firing was pretty much the nail in Billy's coffin as well. By at that time we were a package deal.
That, and Dixie had called me and asked me, what I thought about being an agent. And somehow from my phone here to her phone here, in between there got no, I'm not doing that, which that was never the case. They said, well, because I had done a couple things for them in their big Tennessee show that they always have, that big charity thing that they have for the Tennessee Titans or whatever, and put together some pretty good stuff. So they saw that, yeah, I could be an agent and I could do that. And she had called me and said, hey, we're thinking about you being an agent. What do you think about that? And I went, well, that's great. I'm just glad you're thinking about me, period. So it was good, but I would still like to work because I wasn't ready just to stop working and be an agent. Because my role there after, I kind of fell off the radar was to help the guys that weren't very good, that couldn't work, but had potential, but it was they need somebody to show them. So I would work with them. I'd go on off days. I'd do whatever they wanted me to do. I did everything they asked me to do on off days for them. Go to indie shows with these guys, work with them and stuff. But somewhere in there, it got to Dixie that, because I came to the tapings with them and I got, oh my gosh, I heard you told Dixie you weren't going to do this and I wasn't going to do that. And I went, where did that come from? Because it's so easy for things to get so turned around so fast that it just, and then they take it for gospel. But I mean, but those words never came out of my mouth. I was glad to do it. I just said I would like to work too. I don't want to completely hang it up. Yeah, I'd love to be an agent, but I don't want to hang up my boots either.